The battle bus rumbled, its engine growling like a beast ready to unleash us into the chaos of the game. My squad, the Fortnite freaks, were psyched. We had been planning this drop for days, strategizing and hyping ourselves up. We decided to drop into a remote corner of the map, Anarchy Acres. Nobody went there anymore, making it the perfect spot for us to gather loot without immediate confrontation. It was creepy, which we thought would be fun. The eerie silence and abandoned barns added a thrill to our adventure.
We dove out of the bus, laughing, not knowing it was a mistake. The excitement was palpable, and we were ready for anything, or so we thought. Anarchy Acres was eerily quiet. The usual sounds of distant gunfire and footsteps were absent. Wind howled through empty barns, creating an unsettling atmosphere that made the hairs on the back of our necks stand up. We landed and fanned out, searching for loot. Something felt off. The usual excitement of finding weapons and shields was overshadowed by a sense of unease. The kill feed in the corner of my screen was glitching, showing players dying who hadn't even landed yet. It was as if the game was haunted.
Whoa! Did you see that? The disbelief in my friend's voice mirrored my own thoughts.
Max asked, his voice tense. We all saw it. The glitch was undeniable, and it was starting to freak us out. The player count was wrong too. It showed 100 players alive, but the game had started with only 50. It was as if the game was spawning ghost players. It showed 100 players alive, but the game had started with only 50. This anomaly was more than just a simple bug. A shiver ran down my spine. The game we loved was turning into something unrecognizable, something sinister. This was more than just lag. It felt like the game itself was trying to tell us something, a warning we couldn't yet understand. The storm was closing in, a swirling purple mass. The sky darkened, casting an eerie glow over everything. The wind howled, carrying with it the scent of rain and the promise of chaos. We had to get to the safe zone. Our hearts pounded in our chests as we sprinted across the open field, the ground trembling beneath our feet. As we ran, a voice boomed, echoing around us. It was as if the storm itself was speaking, its words carried on the wind. It was deep and distorted like a broken radio. The sound sent shivers down our spines, making the hairs on the back of our necks stand up.
You shouldn't be here. The voice was urgent, filled with a sense of impending doom. Leave now while you still can. The warning was clear, but where could we go?
We stopped dead in our tracks, exchanging nervous glances. Fear was etched on every face, our breaths coming in short, panicked gasps. The storm was getting closer. The clouds churned violently, and the air crackled with electricity. Panic edged into my throat. My mind raced, trying to make sense of the situation. Where was that voice coming from? It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once.
Let's just get to the safe zone. The urgency in the voice was unmistakable.
Emma said, her voice shaky. We agreed. There was no time to waste. We had to get out of this storm. The safe zone was our only hope, and we ran towards it with everything we had. We made it to a barn, slamming the doors shut behind us. The sound echoed in the still night, a desperate attempt to keep whatever was out there from getting in. Our hearts pounded in unison, a symphony of fear and adrenaline. We huddled together, our breath misting in the cold air. The chill seemed to seep into our bones, making us shiver not just from the temperature, but from the terror that gripped us. I tried to quit the game, but nothing happened. The screen remained unresponsive, mocking my futile attempts. It was as if the game had taken on a life of its own, trapping us in its sinister grasp.
Guys, I can't log out. My voice trembled with frustration and fear. The realization that we were stuck in this nightmare was beginning to sink in.
I cried, my voice high with panic. Tears streamed down my face, illuminated by the faint glow of a flashlight. The darkness around us felt suffocating, pressing in from all sides. The others tried too, their faces pale. We were trapped. The weight of our situation bore down on us, and the barn that once seemed like a refuge now felt like a prison. Suddenly, the barn doors creaked open. The sound was eerie, sending chills down our spines. It was as if the barn itself was alive, responding to some unseen force. A cold wind swept in, extinguishing the lanterns we had lit. The sudden darkness was disorienting, and the temperature seemed to drop even further. We were plunged into darkness. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of our own breathing and the occasional creak of the old barn. Something moved in the shadows. It was subtle at first, a flicker of movement that caught the corner of my eye. But then it became more pronounced, a presence that we could all feel. I could hear my friends' terrified gasps. Each gasp was a testament to the fear that gripped us, a fear that was almost palpable in the air. Then, one by one, their screams pierced the darkness. Each scream was more horrifying than the last, echoing in the vast emptiness of the barn and sending waves of terror through us all. My heart pounded in my chest. I was alone. Terrified, I fumbled for my phone, its screen a lifeline in the dark. No signal. We were truly cut off. Then the voice boomed again, closer now. It seemed to come from inside my head.
You can't hide. This game is real now.
Footsteps, slow and heavy, coming towards me. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for the inevitable, but instead of an attack, a message flashed on my screen, the words glowing an eerie green.
Welcome to Fortnite. Forever.